Welcome to the Lila Life Show. I'm your host, Linda Andrews, and you've tuned in to the right place to up-level in your life and business. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Lila Life Show. I am your host, Linda Andrews, and I'm excited to unpack forgiveness on today's episode, where we are going to talk about some thoughts that have been coming through. This is one of our Tips from the Learning Corner episode, so I hope you enjoy. This is a solo episode, so enjoy these insights from yours truly. I invite you first to take a deep breath. Join me. If you're driving, I understand. You can still take a deep breath though, and just connect with yourself, your heart center. Allow yourself a little bit of a deeper connection to yourself, a little bit more of noticing sounds, noticing smells, noticing sensations moving through your body. That little practice is always available to you, so feel free to do it whenever you need. So, forgiveness. We are moving through a really interesting time in the world, and this episode is an invitation to transmute or to move through some of maybe the lower energies you could be finding yourself holding on to and move into some higher energies. So I'm going to break this down a little bit, but this has clicked massively. And for those of you that are listening that are really nailing forgiveness, congratulations. For everyone else, I want to just unpack this a little bit. With forgiveness, right? My understanding of forgiveness is like, I forgive you. Maybe it's the thing you say when you're a kid, or, it's like you make yourself forgive someone because you're so hurt. I'm talking about radical forgiveness and the invitation every day when we see the world in what can seem like chaos to forgive all of it, everything, like literally picturing the worst thing you've heard today or this week and forgiving it, forgiving everyone involved, even the quote unquote bad guys. And this level of forgiveness practice actually invites us to see humanity, see the humanity in each other. And I think there's tremendous amounts of healing available in this. I want to pick an example. I'll pick a real example, like plastics in the ocean, okay? Like plastics are a real bummer. I saw an article this week that said 50+% of the world's plastics come from 20 companies, and they're known companies. And I was reading this and I was like, oh my gosh, come on. Really? And this is when it all clicked. I'm like, oh, this is a time for the forgiveness practice. And it's forgiving myself for any role that I've played in this plastic situation. It's forgiving the 20 companies and all the people involved in all the plastic. And in that act of forgiving myself, forgiving, quote unquote, all the people involved, for me, I'm able to access something new. Compassion, the ability to see myself as same versus other, like kind of understanding how it happened, right? And it orients me through this, what can feel like transmuting energy, right? This change. Maybe it was anger before. Now there's forgiveness and some healing. And then for me, in this example, there's possibility. There's like, wow, what if all 20 of those companies had like a brain trust and they spend the next 5 years only focus on how to mitigate or offset their plastic efforts? That's what comes for me. But that was not accessible at anger for these fucking 20 companies. Okay. Pick your poison, meaning where are you judging, making an assumption, being a know it all, which is not allowing forgiveness to be accessible, which then leads to the healing, the transmutation, which leads to the creative possibility. But there's blame, which then brings up the shame, which then brings up the guilt, and the cycle continues on and on and on. If we all have the ability to let our thoughts and beliefs affect our, say, words and actions leading to our reality, which maybe you believe that, maybe you don't, I happen to, then a solution, say, wow, 20 of the worst plastic offenders can come together and like change the world. It's like believing, wow, what a creative thought that is possible. But I have to believe that that even exists. I have to believe that the world is capable of that. I have to believe that we're all moving towards our highest expression. I have to believe that radical amounts of healing is possible. I have to believe in alchemy and transformation. And if I don't believe that, then I could say something like, oh my God, it will never happen. Right? Well, of course not. You don't believe it will happen. And if this is triggering, just notice, right? Notice. Notice what's coming up. This is so much to unpack, right? Because it's like at the heart of this, then we get into belief systems. And these belief systems that could be somewhat jaded because of traumas, right? And life experiences. And then the other side of this is like the radical preservation of belief systems. Like anything outside of the belief system could be just too much to handle and it can't be true, right? It's like keeping that grip so tight, trying to control, which equals like so much suffering, right? So we have the opportunity not only to explore forgiveness in the many examples life presents, including, say, anything you read in the news, it's a bummer. We have the invitation to explore our own unique belief systems and asking, does my belief system lead to words, right? Language and actions that will create the world I want to live in? Or is it continuing the cycle? Right? When forgiveness isn't there, then we continue the blame and shame loop. Are some of our lowest energies available. So forgiveness, belief system, and we'll explore energy for a moment. So if you're familiar with David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, it goes from 20 to 1,000. And recently I saw a presentation on this that really moved me. Dr. Edith Ubuntu, her I believe, inner training for freedom lovers. And she shares, and right about 200, at 200, you go up to empowering or down to disempowering, right? 0 to 200 is disempowering energies, 200 and above is empowering energies. Force versus power, power as strength, force being like the control, the grip. And you can look this scale up. It's really powerful. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, holy cow. And what Edith taught in this course is that actually it goes beyond that. When you're a person vibrating at the empowering frequencies, you have an exponential ripple on the disempowering frequencies. And she starts with the example at a number 300, you affect about 90,000 people. And when you're like a Jesus, right, Christ consciousness, you are impacting, I think it was like 100 million people. Don't quote me, but it was high. And so at every level, it's exponential. So when I'm at joy, right? When I'm at joy, I'm impacting millions of people in the world. So I share this because if I'm choosing to be in personal responsibility for my life and every single aspect of my life, right? That's a choice. So I'm choosing that. That includes emotional integrity and where I want to be on the scale. This is a zero advertisement for bypassing and moving through feelings. And this is zero dismissing traumas that you may be moving through. Trust me, I feel you. And there's choice. And as you're healing and moving through the traumas is a choice. Which of these vibrational states do you want to find yourself in? And when you bounce out, how quickly do you want to get back into a vibrational space that may feel more empowering than disempowering, right? Tony Robbins tells a story about life is beautiful, and he really felt this and experienced in India, and it changed him forever because he wants to live as though life is beautiful all the time. And then his challenge is when he bounces out of that, how fast can he bounce back in? Right? Your own accountability, your own personal responsibility to that, it's choice. And you will have every habit and pattern and past trauma clouding that lens, making it feel like that is not possible, presenting much evidence in the form of these thought patterns to make you believe that it's not, but it is. And so I'm sharing all this with you, and some of this I'm certain you've heard me talk about, but connecting this back to the power of forgiveness, right? Let's say 20 companies each have 20 people at their highest levels, and most of them are vibrating at a level of 200 or below, which, hey, is that possible? Based on my experience in corporate, it seems highly likely that that's possible. Okay. So at 200, the tipping point, right? The below 200 starts to get into pride, anger, hate, scorn, anxiety, regret, despair, grief, fear, apathy, guilt, shame, blame, humiliation. When I'm in these lower energies, and stick with me on this, 20 people in upper leadership, 20 companies, are the majority of them vibrating at these higher frequencies or lower? I don't have a measure on this, but I would have to guess lower if I just had to guess. Okay. And these 20 companies happen to be, in this example, creating over half the plastic in the world. If this article is true, which it very well may not be. So fact check away. Let's say it is, though. When I can forgive everything that's led up to that outcome, experiencing the healing of that, I can step into belief systems around what could be possible. Like, what kind of cool innovation could we use to take out plastic and allow nature to be in harmony with the whole universe, like including humans? Whoa, what would that be like? And then I'm in these higher frequencies of 200 and above. Say like willingness, courage, affirmation, trust, optimism, forgiveness. Yep, I said it again. Understanding, reverence, serenity, bliss, enlightenment, peace, love, reason. I name a few, joy. That I'm actually impacting up to millions of humans that are vibrating at these lower energies. This, my friends, is my unshakable faith and belief in humanity, in the world, for us to create something unlike anything we've ever imagined. Right? What you resist persists, where focus goes, energy flows. The forgiveness, instead of resisting, equals the acceptance. Right? It's happening. Now I am seeing clear truth. Can I access forgiveness? Maybe not. Maybe the wounds and the traumas are too fresh, and that's okay. But knowing that this invitation is always available to you, and in actuality, the power that is held with this is unshakable and undeniable. If every single human gets to create the life of their dreams, right? They are implanted with these dream seeds and they get to live their life. If every single human has that gift and ability, I don't know if that's true, but if it is, and fear wasn't clouding, right? And lack wasn't clouding the ability to tap into that, what could the world look and feel like? I invite you to really let this resonate. Notice the triggers, notice anything that really speaks out to you. Feel free to share with a friend, but this is vibrating very high and heavy on my heart. And it makes me really wonder what is possible. So we have forgiveness, which is allowing us to access acceptance, to see clearly, to have eyes to see, to adjust belief systems, to tap into possibility, to take action, to create, to recognize oneness, right? When I'm denying, or let's say I'm in anger and I am in just such rejection that someone could ever put that much plastic into the ocean. Oh my gosh. It's like, and just so you know, like I may sound ignorant about the plastic issue. I'm using it as an example. And there's a lot of impacts the plastics have on other things. I think we know that. Okay. But if we are able to see this crystal clear, what else then becomes possible? So many blessings. I hope you enjoyed today's tip from the Learning Corner. Let this simmer in whatever way you needed it to. Drop a like, review, share, whatever you need to do. The Lila Life Collective is alive and well with new insider content. This is 16 cents a day. We have updates from our coaches, from some of our amazing partners, some of our podcast guests. You can also find within the collective coming up. So we invite you to cozy up, be a very familiar member there for 16 cents a day, and your commitment to up-leveling your own consciousness and how that spreads and ripples throughout the world. I see you. I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Lila Life Show. Be sure to share, like, and comment. Tune in next week. And if you're not already a member of the Lila Life Collective, you'll want to be. So take a look in the show notes and be sure you sign up today. Have a beautiful day.